Tonight, a mother's prayers have been answered. Someone has finally taken up the fight to free her son, who's serving life for a crime that he swears he did not commit.
Attorneys from the Michigan Innocence Clinic have filed a motion seeking a new trial for Kendrick Scott, based in part on a new witness uncovered 2 years ago by the 7 Action News investigator. Now, here is Scott Lewis with the latest twist on a story he's been working on now for 3 years.
Innocence lawyers from Wisconsin and Michigan have been working to free Scott's co-defendant, Justly Johnson, for years. But despite his mother's prayers, no one has taken any interest in Scott's case until now. She's grateful for that and for what the 7 Action News investigators have uncovered on this case.
Do you think you'll ever see the day when he walks out of there?
I've been praying for that ever since the day this happened.
On the end table in Ernestine Smith's living room sits a tattered Bible and a crucifix. God has been her strength.
They took my child and he didn't do anything. I could understand if he had did it, but he didn't do that.
She talks to her son on the phone daily but hasn't visited for 2 years because she has serious health problems. This was her last visit. Don't let the background fool you. Kendrick Scott is locked up for life, and it's far from picturesque. Smith says her son is bipolar. He doesn't get proper medication, and as a result, he's tangled with prison guards.
They have beat Kendrick senseless and put him in that hole. Kendrick stayed in the hole 2 years.
50 miles from Smith's apartment on the U of M campus, student lawyers toil away, looking for angles to free prisoners who they believe are wrongly convicted. Lauren Rosen is one of 2 students working Scott and Johnson's case.
There's nothing more worthy, I think, to fight for than the freedom of 2 individuals who are serving time for a crime they didn't commit.
That crime was a horrific one. Lisa Kindred was gunned down sitting in her minivan on Mother's Day 1999. Her 3 young kids were in the car, including a newborn. Scott and Johnson were convicted on the thinnest of evidence. These 2 young men told police they heard the 2 talking about hitting a lick, street slang that has multiple meanings, including doing a robbery. Both witnesses later recanted and said the police pressured them to finger Scott and Johnson. Now the Innocence Clinic has filed this 179-page motion seeking a new trial for Scott. Imrad Syed is a staff attorney at the Innocence Clinic.
The fact that the evidence that convicted him is completely gone has to weigh very heavily in this case, because we're still talking about a case where there were 2 very, very sketchy witnesses.
And then there's the new witness uncovered by the 7 Action News investigators in 2011. Lisa Kindred's 8-year-old son, CJ Skinner, who was in the front seat when she was shot. We tracked him down in a Pennsylvania prison.
Did you see the person who did this?
Yes.
Could you identify them?
Yes.
Did the police ever question you?
No.
Never.
Never.
Never looked at a photo lineup?
Never.
Later, the Innocence Clinic traveled to Pennsylvania and did a photo lineup that included Johnson and Scott. Skinner said none of the men pictured were the one who shot his mom. Innocence lawyers in Wisconsin and Michigan have filed numerous appeals on behalf of Justly Johnson. All were heard by Judge Prentice Edwards, who presided over the original trial. Every appeal was rejected. But Edwards recently retired, so a new judge will be assigned to Scott's case.
As long as you get a fresh set of eyes on it, a judge who's fair-minded, as I think most of them tend to be, we feel really good about our chances.
And Scott's mom, who suffered through 14 years of hopelessness, is ever so grateful for the efforts of the Innocence Clinic.
I think they're wonderful, and they concerned about him and trying to help him. And I think you are a jewel, because you are trying to help them.
And this man, Kendrick Scott, who supposedly gunned down a young mom on Mother's Day, never, ever forgets his own mom on Mother's Day.
Loving mother.
This is the most recent gift, a heart-shaped pillow crocheted by a fellow inmate. The Court of Appeals has had Justly Johnson's latest appeal for 9 months now. Lawyers expect to hear something on that soon, and they are optimistic about getting a new hearing in Scott's case. If either man is granted a new trial, the other will also likely get a new one, since the evidence is identical in both cases. Prosecutors have long contended that both men are guilty of murder, and they point to Johnson's numerous failed appeals as evidence of that. I'm Scott Lewis, 7 Action News.
Okay, Scott, thank you.